retirement is a fun time. It's a gift, I think. You don't want to exit the working world and then die tomorrow. It's a time to reinvent. It's a time to reflect. It's a time to give back as well. And so I would encourage persons who are facing retirement, begin to process though. You mentioned earlier that we started this journey like 6 years ago, planning for retirement, which is good. Whatever we do in life, we must plan for it. Retirement is one such thing. Writing is certainly something that you may want to consider for retirement.
Hi, I'm Henika Watkins, Porter speaker, coach, author of Podcast Power, inviting you to listen to the Authorpreneur Secrets podcast, brought to you by C. Ruth Taylor, best-selling indie author and the Caribbean's most trusted voice on entrepreneurship. Get ready to dominate entrepreneurship.
It's episode 194 of the Authorpreneur Secrets podcast. This is the episode before Christmas. So it's the Christmas week episode. And I want to wish you a Merry Christmas when it comes. I know some of you, it's not what it used to be, especially those in Western Jamaica would have lost everything. But let's remember the reason for the season. And Christ came that we might have life and have it more abundantly, because to live is Christ and to die is gain. So this Christmas, the greatest gift you can give is introducing people to Jesus, and the greatest gift you can have is a personal relationship with Jesus. So from me to you, the Authorpreneur Secrets podcast, I wish for you a very Merry Christmas. And today we're continuing the series, It Turned on a Book, and we're featuring Dr. Zoe Simpson of Lifeline Publishing, how she was able to use writing to extend her purpose and her mission in retirement. And so you're going to hear her story, and I'm just going to share a little bit of the latest in my authorpreneurship ventures.
Your book is the perfect spark to get the fire going in your personal life, career, business, or ministry. Light that book spark today.
All right. So the latest authorpreneurship venture at the time when this podcast episode is airing would have been that of our Bamboo Sparks Christmas mission. And it went well, but we were able to produce our Pages of Hope testimonial notebook and journal. And 50% of the proceeds of this book will go towards Hurricane Melissa efforts. So we have volume 1 and volume 2. So this is not just a notebook or journal. At the back of it is an inspirational story of resilience, some testimony to inspire you. In volume 1 is Grandma Enid's story, how she was able to recover after being homeless with 7 children and eventually become a homeowner. In volume 2, you have Keith Wedderburn's story, again, how he was homeless and how he and his wife were able to bounce back after being left homeless with a 2-week-old baby, and now they are thriving entrepreneurs. The mission was in partnership with Bluefield Organic Farm, owned by Keith Wedderburn and his wife. And it goes to show that there is hope. So these 2 first volumes are specifically as it relates to Hurricane Melissa, because people lost their homes. And so we wanted to show people that you can rise above that. And it's on Amazon. Volume 1 is on Amazon. Volume 2 will be out soon, but we're also printing them locally. And if you would like copies, you can contact us at admin@bamboosparks.com. We're closed now, but in the new year, we would be open, and we'll tell you more about that in episodes to come. And we're going to launch this at the Caribbean Authorpreneur Summit in January. That's January 30 to 31. 2 days of inspiration to encourage you to become or at least dabble in authorpreneurship, a book plus an initiative for greater impact and income. And we're showing you models of that. So the model for today is how a book can lead to a publishing services business. And at the Caribbean Authorpreneur Summit, we are going to be having the publishing graduation for all the persons who were certified as publishing coaches in 2025, including Dr. Zoe Simpson. And the textbook for that publishing certification program is the Authorpreneur Secrets book. And again, that's another example from book to certification program. And so Dr. Simpson will be sharing at the summit as part of the graduation. And you are hearing her story now, but at the summit, you'll be able to ask more questions and you will learn more about her company during the interview and how even in retirement, it's a continuation of what she did before, just in a new way. So most of the show today will be about her story, and you're gonna learn how things have turned on a book. And we're continuing that series all the way up to the end of the summit. And then after Dr. Simpson's episode, today we're going to have Phyllis Thomas, a veteran journalist who in retirement has also been engaged in publishing. And so that's the latest in terms of our authorpreneurship ventures. So without further ado, let's get into the interview. Today I have with me a very special guest, Dr. Zoe Simpson. She is an educator, counselor, and co-founder of a company that supports the educational development of students at various academic levels. With her penchant for Christian education, she has served as a writer for adult Sunday school literature with the Caribbean Christian Publications, and as a director of Christian education for the Missionary Church Association in Jamaica. And recently she published her debut book, Disciples in Difficult Days, Standing Firm in the Faith. 2 years ago, she retired, and in today's It Turned on a Book, she's going to share her story and the role that writing has played in her career reinvention in retirement. Welcome to the show, Dr. Simpson.
Thank you so much, Ruth Taylor. My pleasure to be here and to be having this conversation with you, considering you've been my mentor over the last 6 years, thereabouts, with respect to writing and publishing. Thank you.
I remember those early mornings as we were planning for your retirement when you were the executive director of the Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation. So talk to us about your previous career before you retired.
Great. So I would have spent roughly, I would say 90% of my working life working in different capacities with adolescent mothers in Jamaica. And that in that context, I've been able to pull on my training in theology, education, psychology, and management to help to redeem the lives of the girls at risk of being cast on the society's dump heap. At the time of retirement, I was head of agency, and you can well imagine, how they say, the head that wears the crown, really. Really has some challenges even. So it was a challenging job, but a very fulfilling job. I think I was born for that. I enjoyed every moment, especially looking and seeing the girls being able to hold up their heads and look at the sun and square their shoulders and get up and pick up themselves and their lives and get out and get on with it, finding their places, which is in sync with my life mission, which is to first find my purpose and live it, and then to help those behind me and beside me find theirs and walk in purpose. Seeing those young women find themselves, there's nothing like that to me. And so I really am grateful that I was able to serve the country and serve those young girls and their babies in that capacity for so many years.
Great. Do you have any highlights, any stories that in particular stood out to you? Because I remember because of you, I was able to go to the Women's Center myself with the publication of my first book to share my story because my mother was a teenage mother. And so we were able to go back and share our stories and of how far we've come. So during your time, were there any particular stories that stood out that you would be willing to share?
There's so many. There's so many. But let me go back to my earliest days as I worked as a counselor then. I remember this one lady with tears in her eyes. It was the intake interview I was doing, and she said she was so devastated when she recognized that her daughter was pregnant. By then she had bought her, she imagined she was an adolescent mother, but then she didn't want it to happen to her daughter to the extent that she tried so hard to help her girl to hold up her head. And she pictured in her mind her pink shoes and her pink dress that she was going to wear to her daughter's graduation from high school. It never happened. I remember the tears rolling down her cheeks, and I said to myself then, we're going to fix that. We are going to ensure that these girls can graduate and their parents, their mothers can come in their pink dresses and pink shoes, whatever color, and see their daughters graduate. I'm remembering that one, and I'm putting that one out there because eventually that story motivated my doctoral dissertation, which was about the reintegration of girls into the formal school system, redeeming a second chance to complete secondary education. That mother's story was what propelled me to do that research into the factors that prohibited the girls from completing. Because even though the girls were reintegrated, there was a research done that showed that 46% of them dropped out the second time. My research fixed that because it also looked at the factors that enabled and empowered the girls to completing. So much so, that research informed the policy for the reintegration of school-age mothers that was passed by cabinet in 2013. That story encapsulates for me my journey with the Women's Center and the process of nation building and the contribution that I would have made to human capital development. And the other story is one girl that I saw in a classroom one morning. And I used to get work very early to beat the traffic and just to be there ahead of everything and everyone. And it was about 6:30 in the morning. I went into a classroom. That was the opportunity I got to interface with the girls, yes? And there was a young lady with her head on the desk. And when she heard me walk through the door, she startled a little bit and got up. And so I engaged her in conversation. And I'm like, why are you here so soon? You know what she said? I leave my house at 4 o'clock in the mornings because I want to get to school on time. I do not want to be late for my classes. And I thought to myself, what do you do with a young lady with all of that resilience and ambition and purpose and the drive? We must help her. We must help these girls who avoid the discrimination and the unkind words, who get up out of their communities early in the morning to hold their head up high and to walk through all the abuse to get to the center to continue their education. That to me is the most fulfilling thing to do in life. Help the girls to get up, get out, and get on with their lives. Empower them to become. That's my story.
Wow, I almost cried there. And I'm picturing it because my mom had her struggles, but she was determined to rise above poverty and teenage pregnancy. And it took her 37 years to fulfill her childhood dream of becoming a nurse. And now she is a nurse manager, and watching her progress over the years and watching her children become, it has just been an amazing journey. So I'm here to say that for those of you watching, no one in the future or listening, that there is hope. Difficult days, but there is hope, because sometimes our greatest tragedy, as my mom would say, become your greatest blessings. And so you are able to birth something beautiful out of that difficult context and help people to rise. And I suppose that flows very well into your debut book. It's in a different realm in terms of empowering Christians, but it's along the same theme. How can you help persons rise above adversity? Talk to us about your book, Disciples in Difficult Days. What inspired you, and what's the story behind this book? Tell us about it.
Whether we like it or not, we're going to have difficult days. I mean, as as long as you come through the birth canal of life, you're going to face difficult days. There are no two ways about it. And so this is like a devotional, though. So all the chapters were presentations that I made previously on a radio program. Mind you, it was a whole set of sermons about discipleship even. But this section about difficult days, I'll tell you this at this stage, that I kind of wondered where to start, which book to be my first one, especially since I've had for the past around about 6 years several titles sitting on my computer, and some have started, and I just really need to complete them. One of which is the story about adolescent motherhood and so on. But I decided to do this one first because the sermons were there already. It was just a matter of rehashing them and situating them and moving right along when I was doing the training even. But, you know, I heard recently somebody who read the book, she said, this book is prophetic because it was published in August. And here it is that Jamaica has faced such a challenging time recently with the hurricane. And we're wondering how and what and where and when and why and all of this. This book speaks to it even. So I think I felt led to pull it together simply because I didn't want to do anything else. I wanted this book on theology, on the Bible, to be the first thing that I put out. I could have picked any of the other titles, but I wanted to. Theology is my first love, mind you. I've done several other disciplines even, but this Bible thing is the best thing ever. And it fits into our lives. I mean, you need this to live, and whatever else we do, we must draw on scripture. We must depend on God, the Almighty One, to help us. So here it is, helping people to recognize that you don't have to stop, you don't have to give in, you don't have to give up, you don't have to turn back in terms of, ending life, that kind of a thing. There is hope, there's so much hope, there's so much help. And so I packaged this book so as to help all of us find something that will help us in the difficult days of our lives to get up and brush off and to go on. Not only that, though, but for us who have been through various experiences to be able to use those to tell our stories and to help somebody else going through a difficult time to say, hey, look at me, been there. God helped me. So-and-so helped me. So it's for us to also support each other. And don't bother to throw stones and cast aspersions. It's for us to encourage people to get up and go on and get on with their life. It is possible. There is hope. And we need to help each other. Help your younger sisters and your brothers and your children, and help yourself and help others to make it through life. Life is difficult, but it's possible.
So what are some of the tidbits that you share in this book? Maybe can you give us 3 ways that disciples can stand firm in difficult days?
Rest in the Lord and in the comfort of his word. The scripture that one of the scriptures that I used a lot in the book, in the stories given, is from 1 Corinthians 1, verse 3 through to verse 5. May the Father of compassion and the God of all kinds of comfort, strengthen and establish and sustain you in your difficult days. So it's leaning on God. It is trusting the process. It is knowing what God's word says and embracing it, even when you don't understand fully. But it's a knowing that God is and that God says he won't ever leave you. And not only that, I will help you. It is trusting God. It is also reaching out to the community around you to say, hey, I'm having a difficult time. Don't hide it. Don't cover. Don't, reach out for help because help is there. Hold on to your scripture. Hold on to, look back on past experiences as well. You know, a song says, hasn't he always come through for you? God is faithful like that. He'll do it again. So it's holding on to hope and trusting God and holding on to your sister's hand and looking across and seeing that somebody else needs you even are some of the things that I shared to say we can do this.
I love it. So there you have just a little of the tidbits, and you'd want to get the book so that you can learn more. So this book is currently on Amazon. Is it anywhere else? Doc, how could persons get the book Disciples in Difficult Days?
So persons can contact me directly. The book is on Amazon. Persons can secure their own copies directly from Amazon. And also, persons can send me an email at lifeline.2023@yahoo.com to make a direct contact with me, and then I could get you your personal copies. Everybody needs a copy of this book because everybody will have difficult days and will know how to navigate.
Awesome sauce. So go on Amazon. The reviews have already started to come in. And she said that it is a series of sermons and teachings that she did that she converted to a book. And I love that because you learn more about that at the Caribbean Authorpreneur Summit, January 30 to 31. And that's where you'll also meet Dr. Simpson again, because we're having at the summit for the first time the publishing graduation. And this is a good way to segue to that segment. Dr. Simpson was one of 5 authors that were certified as publishers in 2025. So, I have the publishing certification program, and the guide for that program is the Authorpreneur Secrets book. And Dr. Simpson is now an authorpreneur. You see in the background, Lifeline. So many persons just publish a book and that's it. But it turned on a book for her that she moved from authorship to offering publishing services. And she's going to talk to us about that journey. Talk to us about Lifeline Publishing and how did that come about, Doc?
As I process my journey, which is what retirement does for you, mind you. It helps you to reflect on your life. Well, that's what it's doing for me. I don't know about other retirees, but I'm reflecting on my journey throughout the years even. And I remember that I was in grade 2, that was many moons ago. I was in grade 2 when I wrote an essay, and my grade 2 teacher, without saying anything to me, she simply sent the book down to grade 6, the grade 6 teacher, and said, have a look. I'm not sure what conversation they had, but I remember it so well. And then I'm in high school, and one of my teachers used to call me Miss Words. And then I'm in college, and my professor says, I just love reading your work, your essay. And then I get invited to write. And I look back, I reflect, and I can safely say I was born to write. As a matter of fact, I know that my gifting is in my hands. I just need to take up a pen and I'm ready. And my brain is in gear, mind you. So writing for me is timely. Like I'm in a conversation and I hear titles in my head and I write them down and I do an outline and I can go back to it. But retirement now gives me that opportunity to pull them all together. And not only that, because again, my life mission is to help others to come alongside, yes, and find themselves and become even. So now Lifeline, we've established again. I've heard in my head the word Lifeline so many times that it has to mean something. So we've called this company Lifeline Student Support and Publishing Services. So we walk alongside anybody in academia, mind you, and we help persons tell their stories, and we help persons, and we write books, and we do research and that kind of a thing. And yes, I think in retirement, I'm in a good place. I feel like I've come full circle. And you talk about reinventing. This is what God would have me do at this stage of my life. It is fulfilling. And then it's relaxing because outside of the spaces where the traffic and it's such a relaxed atmosphere that now allows me to fulfill purpose. This is what I came for. So I'm pulling on my journey, even bringing it into the space and bringing it into the context of retirement to now package my own journey, my own story, to hone and shape exactly what I came here for. All my years of working and studying and living now culminates with this stage called retirement, where I pull it together before I leave. I'm going to leave one day. But I want to know, and this is what Erik Erikson, the great psychologist, social psychologist, calls the generativity now. Yes. So I must leave something for somebody else. I can't just come here and take everything. And I got a lot in life. Can I tell you? Humble beginnings, but I got a whole heap of things to be grateful for. My life verse says, goodness and mercy follow me all the days of my life. The most I can do is to be grateful for what I've got and to be generative and to leave something for somebody else who will have difficult days, who will ask a lot of questions and will need to find themselves. How did I do it? I want to be able to help some person. So I'm being generative now in retirement with Lifeline to say, hey, I'm throwing out a lifeline for you and everyone. Take it and let's run together before I leave and go back to my father and say, Father, it is finished. I've run a good race. That's what I want to do when I'm going. I want to know in my heart that I came and I fulfilled my purpose, and I can look my creator in the eyes and say, thank you.
Love it. I feel inspired. So what kind of books does Lifeline Publishing publish in case persons are interested? Because it's Lifeline Educational Services and book publishing, right? So, and
Yes.
You mentioned the academic support. So what kind of books who are the persons who would come to Lifeline to seek your help in publishing? Talk to us about that.
The whole range, mind you, I'll tell you, because for example, let me start with myself. I have a title that's coming up and coming out soon, if I may, I'll say it right now, and it is about my journey with adolescent mother. So the title that's on my computer is Balancing Boys, Books, and Babies on Becoming an Adolescent Mother. So pretty much it will tell the story of my journey with adolescent motherhood and help the adolescent mothers to anchor, find themselves and find their purpose and live. So that's what that book. So my point is some memoirs even, packaging your professional journey. One of my team members is putting out a book on research, helping persons who are doing their doctoral dissertations to do their research. We're writing about the process of research and so on. We're doing testimonials, memoirs. I said we're doing everything even because the partnership, we have different persons. We have persons who do assessments, even who will talk about how to navigate with children with challenges. So just about anything, any genre, we'll be able to assist persons to put it on the paper and get it out there so that we can help each other.
But it sounds primarily like it's nonfiction is the focus so far, based on what you've described, the memoirs, the educational, the how-to,
Yes.
inspirational. So at least for
Yes.
now, we can see
Yes.
that. But you know, as you spoke, what is coming to me is that you could have a niche right there that ties in with your previous work, that you can tell the stories of adolescent mothers who've now achieved their goals. And so that's a whole line of memoirs that Lifeline could be publishing. So you're throwing these teen mothers a lifeline to say, you can do it. So I kind of see that coming for you, that could be a niche market for you and it will tie in perfectly. So like if my mother, for example, wanted to tell her story, and because of your past work could say, let's go to Lifeline because she worked with, and then so I want
There
to
you go.
encourage, I want to put in a plug for Lifeline
Yes.
Publishing in this niche
Thank you.
particularly. If you were
Yes.
an adolescent mother and you want to tell your story of overcoming, I want to encourage you to contact Lifeline Publishing to let
That's it.
them organize and put it together and help you tell your story. And so tell us the email again. I know you'll be setting up a website soon, and by the time of the summit, maybe we'll have something. We should have something to show because the summit is the end of January. So in the meantime, for those who are listening to this pre-summit episode, give us the email again that persons can contact you and to say, I have a story. I was an adolescent mother and I want to contact Lifeline. Give me the contact information again, please.
Lifeline.2023@yahoo.com.
And I'll put a link to that in the show notes. As we wrap up, like I said, you're going to be graduating and you are part of the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy, and we offer publishing support to authors who want to self-publish. And then part of your certification is that you have to work with real authors for you to become a certified coach. Tell us a little bit about your experience in that program and why you would recommend it to others.
The program is worth every penny that you spend to learn. Every cent spent is worth it, even. I thoroughly enjoyed the program, the course. Doing it alongside other persons was also a motivation for me, even. So we learned from each other. We learned from the presenters, from Miss Taylor's mistakes, even. And she gladly shared those with us. And I'm like, wow, this lady is phenomenal, even, because now she is positioning others, veering us from the paths that she trod, that cost her so much and so on. So I really enjoyed as well the fact that as an adult, that's an art to teach adults even, and you were kind and understanding and what shall I say now? It was just such a transformative process for me, at least, even. I liked it, that the practical side. So we were learning and doing at the same time, and therefore honing the skills as we went along. There were times for us to correct ourselves or to correct or fellow students, kind of a thing. But it was just such a transformative experience. I don't know. Again, the writing is just in my bones, even. So I wanted more. I wanted to learn, and you were facilitating to the process of learning everything that I could and wanted to learn, even. So I would encourage persons to take the course. And even if you're not thinking like me, to maybe set up shop, so to speak, for your own personal development, to unearth the story inside of you too. I will encourage everyone, especially the retirees. You see, retirement is a time when persons get a little bit, what am I going to do? I feel useless. Does anybody see me anymore? This is what you may want to do. Take it from me. Register with the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy to learn the rudiments of writing and publishing, and therefore use the skills you learned through that process to tap into yourself and find that you have a story latent there, lying there, waiting to help somebody, so that you can tell your story in your own time, in your own way, and in affordable ways.
Thank you, Doc. This is just so encouraging. And you heard her talk about the writing and telling a story. So, as you can see on the screen, so it is the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy, again, coming out of the book, Authorpreneur Secrets, showing you how you can turn your book into a certification program. So, when you go to authorpreneursecrets.com/publishing certification, you should be able to see that page. It's authorpreneursecrets.com/publishing certification. And so, what's special about this is that you not only get a chance to publish your own book in the program, so you publish a book, you learn the process of book publishing. So, even if you don't want to start a business to publish for others, you can learn the process, as Doc was saying, to be able to publish your own books, as many books as you want, to reduce your expenses over time. But it's a publishing business certification. So there are different aspects of the publishing business that you may want to do. You may not want to take on the entire thing, but at least by the program ends, you will have your own book. So it's the book plus the skills and the coaching. And it's usually 4 to 6 months. And so there are self-paced master classes on how to publish. You get the book Authorpreneur Secrets. You get publishing practice, one-on-one coaching from me. And usually we have, it's a private program. So usually there are about 2 persons in a cohort, sometimes 3. And so you get to get a book and the skills to publish whenever you wish. You learn, save, and earn thousands, and you could earn millions in the future if this becomes your business, as we expect. And you recover your investment quickly because by the time you sell your first 100 or 200 copies of your own book and get your first 3 clients, or depending on how much you are charging for your service, sometimes your first 2 clients, you'll be able to get that. So that program is currently at $6,000 US. And of course, sometimes 2 clients, 3 clients at $2,000 for a package. You make that back, and this is a lifetime skill. That's why she was saying that the program is worth it. And at some time, the price will go up. But for now, that is the cost of it. So, Doc, any final words for those contemplating retirement or in the early stage, and how a book, because this episode feature is it turned on a book, how a book could turn things around for them?
And for others as well. Retirement is a fun time. It's a gift, I think. You don't want to exit the working world and then die tomorrow. It's a time to reinvent. It's a time to reflect. It's a time to give back as well. And so I would encourage persons who are facing retirement, begin to process though. You mentioned earlier that we started this journey like 6 years ago, planning for retirement, which is good. Whatever we do in life, we must plan for it. Retirement is one such thing. And it's not just about getting your pension. It is how you're going to continue to contribute, because that's what we're here for. Not just to take, but to give, you see? And so begin to plan. Think about it from now. Pray about it. Go into counseling for retirement, even. And begin to make preparations for what you will do in that season of your life. Writing is certainly something that you may want to consider for retirement, not just for yourself, but to be generative, leave something for somebody else to be able to pivot on and to launch their own lives from that platform of something that you would have left for the world. So yes, go into retirement confident that this is God's purpose and plan for you, and you will be okay.
I love it. And as she said, plan for it. Out of our sessions, those sessions assisted me in putting together a book that persons who are planning for retirement can buy. And I'll be having live seminars or online seminars on it. And it's called Write and Retire Right. Secrets to Write Down Fiction Fast and Create Sustainable Income for Retirement. And we have a self-paced course that goes with this book. So this is something you can start off with it because it not only talks about writing, but it also has at the back of it a plan how you can create your design to win, your plan for retiring. And we'll end on that note. What an inspirational conversation. I've known Dr. Simpson for years. I call her Auntie Zoe,
That's
a
good.
woman of excellence, a woman of integrity. The word that always comes to mind again is excellence. She carries herself with excellence and very professional. And I am honored that you are able to be on the Authorpreneur Secrets podcast. Thanks for coming and all the
My
best.
pleasure. Thank you so much.
I trust that you found this interview inspiring and insightful. And if you are planning for retirement or in retirement, that you will draw from this. And if you're going through difficult days, that you would also draw inspiration from this episode. All right, that's it for today. Just reminding you that of the making of books, there is no end. Go pen it to win it and dominate authorpreneurship. Ta for now, until next time.